Hey there, Fiber Junkies! Welcome back to the Color Cauldron. I'm Johanna, the owner and dyer behind Potion Yarns and the host of this podcast. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for joining us, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a new business opportunity and the new directions that Potion Yarns is growing and the exciting changes that I'm hoping to make to the business. And there's a specific way that I need you to help me with the growth of Potion Yarns. So stay tuned for that in just a moment. The other thing we're going to talk about today is a little bit more discussion about how we can use lessons from crafting and also other mundane things in life to benefit the whole direction of our life and manifest our desires to create the life that we want to imagine, or that we do imagine, to create the life that we desire. So let's talk about that. So today is kind of overcast in Kansas City, which I personally kind of love. I am feeling like I'm really ready for spring. It's been a lot of, like, we keep getting teaser days where it's really pretty and then it gets really, really cold and is whatever. Oh, hi Phoebe, guess who decided to join us again? So it's feeling a little gray and overcast, but I made myself a really delicious smoothie today. We're doing mango, Greek yogurt, strawberry, coconut, and pear, and a little bit of romaine lettuce. And I love it. It's so good, and it's so healthy and delicious. So that's my beverage of choice today. It's also my lunch. So today, sorry Phoebe, I gotta move you. Today I wanted to show you guys what I'm wearing. I'm actually wearing two hand knits today. The first one that you see on top is my Marianne cardigan, and I totally meant to be all prepared for this podcast and look up the designer's name before I started shooting. Totally didn't do that. So I will put a link to the pattern below because it is on Ravelry. It was in the Jane Austen Knits magazine a while back. And so I will put that link down below so that you can find it. I highly recommend knitting this pattern because I loved it. It is probably my favorite cardigan I've ever knit, and that's saying a lot because I love cardigans. I used the Malabrigo sock, just their sock weight. I do not remember the colorway name, I'm so sorry, but as you can see, it's kind of these really pretty purples and kind of a dusky foresty green and a lot of like grays. It has a real smoky, dusky feel to it. I wanted you to take a look at this really awesome lace though. I'm hoping the lighting in here is good enough. It's very overcast, so hopefully you can see it. But this lace is really intricate and it's beautiful. And once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty simple. But, well, I wouldn't say simple. It's not terrible once you get the hang of it, but I will say it is not super easy beginner lace. I struggled a little bit with it on my first couple rounds of the sweater, and then I started getting the hang of it. And I say rounds, but you actually knit it back and forth because it's a cardigan for the body. But I really love it. And then I used these really darling vintage pearl buttons. I have an obscene collection of buttons, partly from my mixed media artist days left over from that. I used a lot of old vintage buttons in my crafting, and partly because I'm a fiberholic. I sew every now and then, not very well, but a little bit, and I collect buttons and things for my knitwear and stuff, and everybody knows that I'm a fiber fanatic, so they give me and send me scraps of fiber and fabric and buttons and stuff all the time. So yes, I have a ton of old buttons, and someone had given me a baggie full of these really cool like faux pearl buttons a long time ago. I don't know how old they are. They didn't come on a button card or anything. It was just a Ziploc baggie full of them, and there were like 20. So I use them for my sweater, and I kind of love them. And then I of course love the little picot hem. And then underneath it, it's really cold in here, so I'm not actually going to take off my sweater because I'm freezing today. But underneath it, I am wearing my Hold Sway sweater, which if you saw my podcast from several weeks ago, back in January, I was doing a test knit of the Hold Sway sweater for the designer, and I loved it. I talked about it several times on the podcast. I showed it in process and then showed the final version, and I'm wearing it today, and it is knit out of my, it's called Bee Stung Lips is the colorway, and it's on my Fairy Wing base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% silk. And it's absolutely a dream to work with. So I highly recommend checking that out. Again, I'll put a link to both of those patterns below. Both of them are super crazy fun knits and highly wearable. I wear them all the time. And today I wore them together for the first time and thought, those colors are phenomenal. So loving, loving that. So let's talk about the directions Potion Yarns is going. First off, Potion Yarns is growing so fast, and that is largely due to you guys and your support, and I am so grateful for it. So thank you so much for helping me, encouraging me, purchasing from me, sharing my links, sharing my videos, telling everybody about me. You guys are awesome. And I am so grateful for what an incredibly warm and welcoming and inclusive community the fiber world is for the most part. So I'm just really grateful, and I want to share my success with you, and because I totally recognize it's not just me. I work my rear end off, I'm not gonna lie. I work super hard, and I constantly feel empowered by looking at this business and being like, I did that on my own. But I know even when I say that, it isn't all on my own. It would be impossible for me to do this business without buyers to purchase my product. It would be impossible without people cheering me on from the sidelines, emotionally supporting me, offering words of encouragement, sharing my posts, telling people about me. It would be impossible for me to do this business or have gotten this far this quickly without my husband's awesome expertise, both technically with the graphic design and video editing, and teaching me how to do those, so when he can't do the videos, I take over. He's taught me so much about that, but also just the way he supports me, the way he helps me package yarn and send it out, all these different things that he helps do on the side. So thank you guys. The Potion Yarns family is not just me, and not even just me and my husband. It's a huge, big, wonderful, crazy, slightly dysfunctional, but mostly awesome, very loving family, and you guys are part of that, and I'm so grateful. So here's another way you can help out the family business. I have been really wanting to expand Potion Yarns even more as we're going forward, and I want to keep the growth manageable so I don't get burned out, but I am coming to the point in my business where I am starting to feel some serious growth pains about the space that I'm in. I really need a dedicated dye studio, preferably in my house or on my property or very close to it, and I would prefer to have it in my house because it would be a business asset that I would own rather than renting a space. There's a whole bunch of other reasons as well. It's just easier for me. I can produce more efficiently when it's close, and I can weave it into my day-to-day life and my other business at the hair salon and my hanging out with my family and taking care of my house and my cats and everything. So I would really like to be able to either renovate a space in my home or purchase a shed or some sort of outdoor facility that I could have in my lawn on the property. We don't have a very big lawn because we live in the urban core of Kansas City. But we do have a small lawn, and we could fit a little she shed, if you've seen those cute little sheds that women have for studios and things. We could fit a little studio out there. But it's going to take more money than Potion Yarns currently has saved up, and more money than my husband and I can personally put into the business at this point. So we have decided to apply for a small business grant. And while I'm looking into several different options, there is one that is happening right now. So today, March 28th, 2018, the voting officially opened for the FedEx Small Business Grant, and I just found out about it yesterday and found out that I'm eligible. So it's been a crazy 24 hours as I've rushed and scrambled to write an essay and get my mission statement figured out and edit some photos and get a video filmed and edited and uploaded and everything else. And I've had all kinds of technical difficulties, and I've been working my rear end off. I was gone all day yesterday from 11 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. with very few breaks and no way to do any of that. So I was up till 3:30 a.m. working on that application, and I've spent most of my day today finishing it, uploading it, and sharing and promoting it on social media. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would just take a couple minutes out of your day to click the link in the description box below where you can vote for me. You can vote once a day, every day between now and April 4th. So I would really appreciate it if you could either set a reminder or just check I will be posting on Facebook and Instagram every day between now and then with links and reminders to go and vote. So if you can follow me so that you get those and make sure that you're checking it every day, or just set a reminder or something, the more you can vote, the more helpful it will be. This is kind of half popularity contest, half actual like businesses that are eligible. Because it's such a big contest, the judges set it up so that the 700 applicants who have the most votes at the end of the voting period on April 4th automatically get promoted into the judging panel, and then the judges go based off of several different categories they're looking for and choose it based off of merit of the applications. So my essays and videos, as well as my social media presence and my website, are all super important to winning this. It's not just who gets the most votes, but that can help me get through tier 1. So I'd really appreciate it if you would not only vote and vote every day, just once a day, but every day, But also, if you would share this on all of your social media outlets as much as you can, or tell people about it, share it with your knitting circle, with your crafty groups, post it on your website or Facebook or whatever you can do, anything you can do would be so appreciative. And I totally don't want you to be an obnoxious person that like posts it every hour on the hour on every one of your social media outlets. I'm not expecting you to pimp my business that much. I don't want you to become a social pariah because you're advertising for me. But I would love it if you could share this as much as possible, vote as often as you possibly can within the rules, and also just be super gracious of the other applicants, because I know some of us in the fiber world, there are multiple indie dyers and other makers in the Etsy world and the small business world who are applying for this grant as well. And I really don't want there to be any bad blood between any of us or any of our fans or anything, because I'm voting for them too. You can vote for multiple businesses, so I'm voting for them too. So yeah, I just would really love to ask for your help, and this is like a huge dream of mine. This would dramatically increase the product that I am able to produce, as well as the efficiency with which I am able to produce it. It would allow me to take on bigger shows, trunk shows, some of the fiber festivals, doing more travel, taking on bigger orders, maybe wholesaling. I'm still trying to decide if that's for my business or if just direct retail sales are, but definitely doing more fiber festivals and yarn shows, trunk shows, and those kinds of things is definitely what I'm wanting to get into more in the immediate future. So this would be really, really helpful. It would also, depending on what place I get in the finalists, it might also provide me enough money if I get pretty high up in the placements or win first or second. I would probably have enough money for a dye space and for some extra equipment that I desperately need, because this is physically a very demanding job, and I already have a physically demanding job at the hair salon. So I'm already at risk for carpal tunnel, and twisting skeins by hand all day, it really increases my risk for carpal tunnel, as well as I'm already experiencing some pretty frustrating back and neck issues just from standing a lot and leaning over hot dye pots and carrying heavy stuff at the salon and at home. So I would be able to invest in some equipment and tools that would really save my body from injuries and allow me to continue doing this long term. And that's what I want. I want to be here long term for you, so you can count on Potion Yarns, and I will be here for a while. I really want this. I do not want to be a flash in the pan business, and I can't control the future, so I don't know what's happening. But as far as I can control it, my goal and my dream is to build this into a thriving, sustainable business for my family for many years to come. And I would really love to be able to invest early on in the process in expanding at a manageable rate, but a rate that is going to be healthy for me and my family and enable us to really support this and not get burned out. So please, please, please go vote. Okay, enough shameless self-promotion. I'm gonna take another sip of smoothie and then we'll get on to the rest of our episode. I wish you were here. This is seriously so good, you guys. I've been making smoothies a ton lately because I got a new fancy Vitamix blender, and I love it. And it's such a good way for me to get my fruits and veggies, especially veggies. I love fruit. I could eat it all day long. Veggies I do actually love, but I'm kind of picky about how they're prepared or cooked. I tend to like them raw better, but then some of them it doesn't always work, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why I don't eat enough fruits and veggies, mostly because I'm lazy. And this is a really quick, easy way for me to get a lot of fruits and veggies and healthy stuff like Greek yogurt that I don't like the taste of on its own. This is awesome, so I'm loving this. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was kind of a difficult topic, but it's one that is essential if you are going to be the best you that you can be. I talk a lot about Potion Yarns, and through my social media sites, I talk a lot about the theme of my business. And if you don't know, if you're a new viewer, I built Potion Yarns around, yes, a love of color, a love of fiber, and a love of crafting. That is at the core, that is the heart and soul of Potion Yarns. But it goes even deeper than that. What really drives me and my business, and I think why I'm being so successful so early on, is because I really want to do more than just teach you how to knit beautiful things. I want to teach you how to create the life you desire. I want to teach you how to be the best you can be. I want to teach you how to love yourself, how to see the magic that is in you already. No matter how broken and messed up and making mistakes you are, you have incredible, unique magic that only you can have. And I want you to live up to your full potential. I am not saying that I want to teach you that because I have it mastered. I am actually coming from a very broken space. I am coming from a very humble position. And if you'll notice, So far, all the things I've talked about, like facing failure, making mistakes, and how to rip back and apologize and just make it right and move on, all of these kinds of things I've been talking about, change and how to accept it. I keep giving you examples from my own life where I don't look super like the hero. I'm pretty open about my flaws. And to be really honest, that's hard for me. I've had a really hard time being that honest because I am a perfectionist and I really like people to see me as having my shit together. You'll pardon the expression. I like people to see me as having my stuff figured out and being pretty awesome and having it together. But the reality is, I've been getting burned out trying to be perfect and trying to maintain a perfect facade. And I never wanted anyone to actually think I was perfect, but I didn't want them to see the mess. I wanted to keep that at home. You know, it's called not airing your dirty laundry. But I've changed my perspective on that, and I've realized that sharing my humiliating experiences and the ways that I'm turning those into positive lessons, first of all, helps me, because when I share it with you, I feel a sense of responsibility that you're watching now. I need to get my act together. I need to be a better person, and I want to be that for you. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't have any kids, so I don't know what it's like to be a parent from experience. I just know what it's like watching my parents, listening to my sister who's a mom, talking to my friends who are moms and dads, and just guessing. But I think it's kind of like maybe what being a parent might be like, where when you have kids, it kind of pushes you to want to be a better example. You want to be a better person. You guys aren't my kids, but I'm kind of in the spotlight here. And being in the spotlight and knowing that you guys are listening to what I say makes me want to be a better person, so I'm a better example, because I really want to help you. And how can I help you if I'm not willing to take my own advice? So here we go. Here's the tricky thing that I learned just recently. I learned that I suck at taking criticism graciously. I have a really hard time because I'm a perfectionist, because I like to maintain that facade and be perfect. I have a really hard time graciously accepting criticism because it feels like a rejection of me. It feels like I failed again, and I hate to face my failure. That's why I've done so many videos on making mistakes, facing failures, saying sorry, fixing it. It's because I struggle with that. I have a really hard time with that. I don't like that about myself. I actually really dislike the fact that I don't take criticism well. I admire people like my husband who takes criticism quite a bit more graciously than I do. Now, he's not perfect. We had a fight recently where neither one of us was taking criticism well, and it took us several hours to get to the fact where we both realized it and we're like, oh gosh, sorry, that's my bad. But we did finally get there. And but he's characterized generally by being a lot better at, if I point out a flaw, saying, I'm sorry, I'll work on that. You're right, that's not cool. Or, well, I didn't realize I was doing that. Let me think about that, look into it, see if that's really an issue for me. And if it is, I will fix it. He's so much better at that than I am. So I'm trying to learn from him. I'm trying to learn from people like my mom, who's super gracious and humble as well. And she's not trying to hold up a facade. She's one of the most genuine and authentic people I know. And she sets such a great example for me. I'm trying to be a better person about taking criticism. So I had a really real life example to share with you guys. And this one actually comes from my experience as a hairstylist. If you don't know, I've been a hairstylist for 13 years almost, working professionally behind the chair. I still do that when I'm not dyeing yarn, and that's how I got into dyeing yarn. So I had this revelation. I was doing my hair the other day, and my husband had already left for work that morning by the time I got to the bathroom to actually start working on my hair. And I was starting to fix it. The front looks amazing, and I'm like, yeah, girl, I look so good today. Good hair day, feeling foxy, feeling awesome, like proofing and preening in front of the mirror. I grabbed the hand mirror, turned around to look at the back of my head. Oh God, it's like a second head of hair. Who is that ugly fugly on the back of my head? And I was like, what? Where's the disconnect? I thought I did the same styling techniques on the back of my head that I did on the front, but the front looks amazing. Like I could go on a magazine cover right now, and the back looks like I haven't washed my hair for 3 days. And it's a rat's nest, and it looks terrible. So as I was fixing it, I kept running into frustrations where I was thinking, why am I struggling to fix the back of my own head? First of all, I've been doing my own hair for the better part of almost 30 years. I started doing my hair pretty young, but it's been over 20 years at least that I've been doing my hair. Also, I'm a professional. Literally, this is my job, is fixing people's hair when it looks like this. And I know I could do it on my client. If I had you sitting in front of me and it was your head, I could fix the back of your head in 5 minutes or less and make it look magazine worthy and awesome, or at least amazing so you can go to work with confidence. But I couldn't do it on my own head. And I kept feeling frustrated that I couldn't just take my head off fix the back of my head myself and then put it back on, but obviously that doesn't work. So I had this revelation where if I was working on a client and they were like, I just can't get the back of my head to look right, and I tried to go and fix it and they started getting all offended, that I wouldn't be able to do my job and they wouldn't get what they wanted. And then I had this even greater revelation where I was like, okay, what if they didn't come to me? What if I saw my client, like she walks in the hair salon or something, and she's telling me that she wants her hair cut like this and this and this, and I see something really bad about her haircut in the back, and I'm like, your hair has changed, or you're having this issue, or you seem to be having this problem styling, and I say, you know, it looks really wonky back here. How about we fix that? Do you want me to show you a new curling iron technique so it'd be a little bit easier for you to do that every day? And she gets all offended and starts crying or being like, well, fix your own hair, girl. You don't look so hot either. If she started doing that, I would be flummoxed. And I would be like, bitch, get out of my chair. Pardon my language again. Feeling sassy today, I guess. But I would be frustrated and I wouldn't be able to help her. And my goal would be to help her. It's not like I don't get anything better in my life out of helping her except a client who likes me as long as she's happy. But like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you because I want to help you look better and feel more confident every day when you go to work. It's fine if I can do your hair when you leave, but I don't live in your house and do your hair every day. So if you want to look good going to work every day, I need to teach you how to do your hair. So I had this revelation. The reason my husband has to criticize me sometimes is because I can't see the back of my head. I can't see my attitude sometimes when it's not pretty. I can't see how I make people feel or treat them. I can't understand how I come across. Sometimes I think I do, and I'm wrong. And sometimes I realize I'm being a brat and I'm just too embarrassed to admit it until somebody calls me out on it, unfortunately. So he's there literally to be my mirror, my little handheld mirror, so I can check the back of my head, and he can say, hey, check the back of your head. You're not looking so hot. You're looking kind of selfish right now. You're looking kind of rude. You need to apologize to that person. Or, hey, don't treat me like this. I'm on your side, and you reacted really badly when I said that. I think you have maybe some low self-esteem about this issue. And instead of getting all upset, I need to realize, crap, he's right. He's telling me something I really need to hear. I need to be good about this. So I just wanted to share that with you because I had this revelation that, you know, people who love us are doing it to help us. They don't like to call you out on your crap. Do you like to call someone out on their crap? I mean, maybe you do. If you do, that might be another issue. But we're talking about just genuinely, for the most part, normal, good-hearted people. I know I love my husband more than anyone. I love my sisters a lot. I have 2 sisters. I love them so much. And I can't tell you, I'm the youngest one in my family. I can't tell you how hard it is when one of my sisters has a blind spot and I have to be like, girl, you got some work to do. I think you're doing XYZ. It's really hard. But I tell you what, it is harder. It is almost impossible when they react poorly. When they react better and they're like, oh, thanks, sister. I'm glad you have my back. Gosh, that's embarrassing, but I'm glad you caught it before I went out and embarrassed myself in front of the rest of the world doing the same thing I just did to you. When they respond that way, I feel so much relief, and I'm quick to reassure them of all the things they're doing awesome, of all the things that I admire them for, of all the things that I think they're amazing at, because I want to build them up. I just want to help tweak the little things because none of us are perfect. And we need people who care about us in our lives to tell us that. So do some self-reflection this week. Ask the people that you love and you trust. It should always be someone you trust. Don't just ask whoever to critique you. And keep in mind, take it with a grain of salt if it's coming from someone that doesn't know you well or that you don't trust. But for the people that love you and that trust you and you know they love you, your family, maybe a friend, somebody that you trust, or a mentor perhaps, ask them how you take criticism. Sorry, Phoebe just shook the camera really bad. Ask them how you take criticism. Ask them, and even more, try to step back outside of yourself for a minute and see how you take criticism. How do people approach you? Do they come at you kind of scared? Is there a big, like, tiptoe around the issue buildup? That's a clue to me. My husband has been doing that more and more in our marriage, and recently he finally decided he was tired of it, and we had a knockdown, drag-out fight because he didn't just tiptoe around my feelings, and he called me out on some stuff that he needed to, and I didn't react well. And then as we were making up and he pointed that out, I was like, you're right. I recognize a pattern. You've tried to bring this exact issue up multiple times over the past couple months, and every time you like tiptoe, and as soon as I start to get kind of edgy, you back way off, and then you just drop it. And thank you for having the bravery to finally say something to me and be willing to have a fight to bring it to my attention. It's not easy, guys. I'm here to tell you, I am probably the worst at this of anyone. I am terrible about this, but no longer. I have realized the error of my ways, and just like we talked about making mistakes a few weeks ago, I'm ripping back and reknitting. I can't go back and undo the past, but I can set a new future. I've apologized to my husband. I've apologized to a couple other people lately who I feel like have been in a position to critique, and I haven't taken it well. And I've asked a couple people to be willing to do the hard thing and be brave enough to come at me when I'm needing to be critiqued, and I've promised them to try to be better, and I'm gonna do better, and I know you can too. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I just want you guys to be the best you can be, and this is a really hard thing to do, but if you can master the art of humility and taking criticism graciously, you are on the fast track to being the best you possible, and you are going to stand out from the crowd, and you are going to do amazing things, baby, and I can't wait to see what it is. I can't wait to see where you and I both go, because we're becoming incredibly awesome people. Also, Phoebe is playing with her toy behind the camera, and it's impressive. She's being very incredibly impressive playing with herself. That sounded terrible. Playing with her toy. I need to go play with my cat and finish my smoothie. So that's where we're going to cast off. Love you.